Hello folks, it's Trevor here, and I am back in Air Hauler 2, and I am sitting in the office and want to take you guys out on a flight with my new Dash 8. And it's been a long road since Friday. When I got home from work on Friday, and this is now Wednesday I think, but on Friday afternoon I wanted to get a new plane and kind of wanted something that could do more cargo, be a bit more of a challenge. I'm not real good at this point in landing anything, but I sort of thought, well, I want a bigger plane. So when I came into the marketplace and looked at, the different planes that were available, and I kind of sorted it by cargo capacity, I wasn't real happy with them, but I thought, well, you know what, let me go ahead and get the Dash 8. But see how there's no image for some reason, and I don't know if it's just my FSX. I really haven't looked into it, but I wasn't able to fly it. Like the plane was invisible. I could buy it and all that stuff, and so that became a bit of a waste of money. But then in looking for a solution for the Dash 8, I stumbled across Majestic Software, their version of the Dash 8, and it's a Q400, which is, I believe true to real life, and it is a much more souped up version. You can see the cargo capacity listed here is even just 16,000, but it holds a bunch more than that. If we come over to company information in my fleet, you'll see the cargo capacity here is 25,000. And that's even a little bit misleading because it can really carry 36,000 weight, and you can put that extra cargo in there, I believe. I haven't really used it that much, but in any event, you can carry a boatload of stuff. 25,000 is pretty big, and the performance on this plane has proven to be pretty good. I also wanted to show a couple things real quick that I stumbled across while I was playing and learning how to do the Dash 8, and believe me, I am not advanced, so don't feel like you're going to get the greatest lesson here. I do want to get this number 3LF, so we'll remember that in a second here. This is a website I found that was pretty neat. I had a problem with the St. Louis airport ILS being just, it's off on their, I think it's 30 left runway, and I didn't know what was going on, but if we come in here and type in that K3LF and hit enter, oops, did I not get it? What did I do wrong? Let's top back over here real quick. Yeah, 3LF. Maybe I'll just put 3LF in. 3LF. There we go. So it's kind of cool. You get a little picture of the airport, which is a little off-centered here. I guess we can zoom out. So just a Google Maps image of it. Pretty basic airport we'd be going in and out of, and it gives you your runways, and you can also look at this ILS thing, which this one doesn't have. If we go to the airport we'll be taking off from, which is Nashville, I think is KBNA. Yep. Surprised I remember that. So there's a little picture of Nashville on the Google Maps, and a little description of the runway. I just thought it was pretty cool. Gives you your different frequencies. Now, whether this is still accurate in flight sim is questionable. I'm sure these things change, though I imagine a lot of the information's good. Certainly good enough for a let's play or for a game. But pretty neat. It also marks out different locations of like the ILS, I guess, and I don't really understand all this stuff. And speaking of not understanding all of this stuff, this brings me to another one I found, which is really kind of cool. This gives you a whole boatload of information. I guess it's mostly about like the flight paths in the sky. It's called skyvector.com. Oh, did I mention the name of this one? Is fsx-se dev, D-E-V. I'll leave links for both of these in there. But we plan on flying out of Nashville down here, so like I can even click on Nashville. I don't know what I did there. Now I lost Nashville. Is that Nashville? Oh, that's Atlanta. Oh, it centered it. That's Huntsville. So if I click on this Nashville here, it has a whole description of a bunch of stuff. But even more impressive in some ways to me, let's just hit the back button. If we, oh, there it is. If we come in, you know, you could, I'll get it close enough you can see. It has a whole bunch of stuff and things and markings. And I'm sure that means something to a lot of people. But if you wanted to get into flight planning and all of that, this is certainly probably, I'm guessing, be a good place to start. I noticed a couple other things, like if I zoom way out, you can see there's weather, light, moderate, convective. So again, I'm sure that means thunderstorms more or less. I know there's rain up in this area, Pennsylvania, just because I had looked at the regular weather radar. But we're flying to, if I zoom in, there's 3LF R, whatever it is, 3LF. Yep, there it is right there, the dot. You can click on it. Again, I don't know what all this stuff is, but I just thought I'd point it out to you guys. If you want to call the airport, I notice a lot of them have phone numbers on there. You know, it tells you which air traffic center it's in, and, you know, again, if it's just kind of neat. It's information. I don't want to spend too much time on it. So let's hop back to Air Hauler. And I had flown out and dropped off something, not in Dothan, but another little town, Wheaton or something, in Alabama, I think it was, right on the Alabama-Georgia border. Might even have been in Georgia, I forget. And then I ended up flying a load from there up to Nashville. And then now that I'm sitting in Nashville, I have a flight that I could make to that 3LF to get me back towards St. Louis. I started a new company from the one I have been playing, mostly because I crashed the plane so much I kind of bankrupted the whole thing. So in any event, let's hop over into the airplane, which means I have to pause the video, but I will, when I have Flight Simulator up, I will be right back. And there she is. So you can see it comes with a little ground power unit that attaches to it. And yeah, pretty nicely done model. You know, it costs $60, and I'll also leave the link to, you know, exactly what model I bought and all that. They have a Pilot Edition, which is $60, and a Pro Edition, which is 80 some, and I am not unhappy at all with the Pilot Edition. If you were really into flight sim and planning and a whole bunch of circuit breakers popping and other stuff, the Pro Edition does come with more. So really your call at that point what you would get into. But let me switch back to this view. So here we are sitting in the pilot seat, pretty obviously. Doesn't have the typical, if I hit shift, like, I imagine there's a reason that they do it this way. Guys probably set up whole cockpits and stuff, might want that. I just kind of got rid of it. But you can, you know, I've actually found you can click on these displays and you can get the things to pop up. I usually shrink this one down a bit, try to keep it somewhat to scale. This one I like, oops, yeah, you gotta watch where you grab it, but you can grab it and move it up there. I like to keep it below that, what do you call it, the menu, the top menu bar. There we go. Then get the air traffic control open, get him shrunk over to this side, and that should be pretty reasonable. Yeah, so let me go through real quick. It took me, let's just say, a significant period of time. I'm talking like an hour probably to get this stupid thing in the air. And this is part of the reason, you know, like, and watching guys' videos, they don't cut to the chase. They, you know, a lot of great videos. If you want to know exactly everything, how to do it properly, this is not going to be your video. I am a video game player, not a pilot. as time goes on, I will try to probably be more accurate. The other thing I noticed is the setup kind of is already mostly good to go. Like, and then things I haven't noticed the difference. Like the guys talk about turning this tie on and turning the generator off, and you know, I don't know. I guess you can do all that, and I'm sure it all has real life practical meaning, but I'll just show you what I do, the quick down and dirty to get this thing started. One of the things you need to do is make sure, well, I put the control lock on. I don't know that it has to be, but I don't know. It kind of makes sense that it would. You need to move these two condition levers to the start position, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Now I'm going to switch my view as much for the sake of the video, so we can see, you know, you get a nice top-down view of all your switches. This stuff I figured out is like test for your fire system. And again, if you're pretending you're a real pilot and or maybe you are a real pilot and you're flying a video game, don't mean to insult anyone, you can test your systems and so forth and so on. This is your lights for your gauges and whatnot. Usually I found 50% is pretty nice. It's not nighttime. You don't really even need these on right now. Though you did notice that at one point things were pretty dark. So what I've done, and I don't think you really need to do it, because I think you could start up using the power from that ground generation, but you know, turn this on, it kind of flashes. I don't know, you turn this and then you turn this on, and this will start up. So this is your auxiliary power unit, so it's like a little generator. And once this is up and running, you can disconnect from the ground power unit and still have power. Now, I imagine to some degree you could run off the batteries, but I imagine you wouldn't want to start your motors, certainly not in real life with that. So see, now you get this warn button, and the reason for the warn is if we come down here, this is your flight management system, and I am not going to get into it, though I have been learning a bit more about it. Probably don't need to shrink that during the video, but normally I shrink it just so it fits there. Anyway, this is saying, do you want your initial position, accept, data, and then I come over here to services, and you hit this cancel, and well, we can't really see them because we're high down, but that little ground unit will disappear, and you can call them back. Oh, by the way, it's probably worth mentioning, this is how you do the pushback, so you don't have to remember the keys. I forget what they are right now anyway, so that's been kind of nice. If you want to get a pushback, you just click on that, which is necessary at times, obviously. So we have, you know, the power up to idle, we have the flight feathered, or the condition levers at feather. We should be good there. And then you flick these two switches, and now I guess you would do them one at a time, and I'm sure there's all kinds of procedures and protocols from different airlines and all that stuff. If you flick this over to start and then click this button, then we'll come down here and look. If we look at this, see this, you know, whatever this thing is winding up. And again, sorry for all this. I'm just trying to show you how I start the thing, and over time I'm sure I'll learn more about it, but there's far better tutorials from guys who are far better pilots than I am. So there we go. So this motor's basically started. You hit these buttons to stop that from flashing, though it'll probably come back. So now you see where engine 2, most of the warning lights here have gone out, and now what we'll do is I'll switch this over the other way, and we can start engine 1. And I know from just being in one of these, they don't tend to run both of these engines when they're on the ground. So again, forgive me, this is not proper procedure or following a checklist or any of that stuff. It's just a dude with his video game starting a plane that he's proud that he just could even figure out how to start after an hour. So there we go. So both of our engines are now warming up and running. Doesn't seem to have much of a warm-up time, but you'll see, you know, the PSI climbing here. Things are still moving up on this engine until it gets to like that 405. So there we go. So now that we have these engines going and we have these, ooh, didn't mean to do that. we have these generators on. We don't need this thing on, and you can leave it on. It doesn't seem to hurt until, like, after a while it just goes into some kind of a mode where it flashes up there, fail or something. So not 100% sure. Now, if you're going to go flying high, which we are, you have this cabin pressure thing. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I'm not sure 100% how anything works, but I do know that if I put this to normal, or minimal or normal, and then you turn these two things on, see how that pressure came up there? So this is saying, you know, yeah, see, I don't know what the normal does, but, you know, now we have duct pressure. Again, I don't know if they were hurting people's ears by turning that on too soon, but we only have a load of whatever the heck it is. I forget. Here, let's jump. Here, hit the P. And there we go. That's pretty much it. You have your position lights, so we'll turn those on. You know, we have taxi lights and flare. I'm not even sure what flare lights are. Approach is like lights on your wings. So I've noticed that at nighttime. Haven't even flown. I've really only flown maybe 2 or 3 missions that weren't flight qualified. You know, you can turn on your no smoking and stuff like that, emergency lights, whatever else. So again, it's pretty well done. I mean, if you want to get into it, this is pretty cool. So let me switch back over to the pilot seat because we're getting to that point. It's not the pilot seat, I think. There we go. The Pro Edition, apparently, like, you can click on these panels and all these, I guess all of the circuit breakers work. There's an awful lot of them, I don't know, but that's not in this edition. You can, you know, you have like emergency equipment you're supposed to check, and I think there's like an emergency hatch up here that you would check, and there you go. So let's just zoom in real quick and take a look at, okay, another thing I usually do just to get the lights to go out, and I'm sure there's other reasons for it, is to turn these 3 switches here, which are your anti-icing. So this is ice protection. Again, it will eventually make those lights go out there. So I don't know what L true is or R true. These lights will go out as we, and same thing with this AC generator. Lights will eventually go out. So why don't we tune to Nashville ATS. Right over here is our barometer. And we'll just get the barometric pressure. I do have active sky next. So altimeter 311. So it jumps up by 3. I'm not sure if there's a way you can get it. So I just get it close enough. So I got it to 310 now. Wind calm, so that's the other thing I look for there. We'll cut that guy off and request some IFR clearance. Now, climb and maintain. So this is your, you know, your control. So it's a little bit different than other airplanes in the sense that you have to. That guy's talking about. Let's finish up with him. So you have, this is how you would change your nav source. I haven't really gotten good enough to mess with this whole flight management thing, but if I left click here, I'll get this up to 12,000. Then that way I'll be ready to set it when we take off. And then you have these 2 buttons here I use a lot. This one is like indicated airspeed. And let me click on this. See this indicated airspeed 30? So I'm gonna left click on this one. And I'm gonna run it up. They talk about, you know, when I've watched other guys' videos that seem to be real pilots or closer than I am to being a real pilot. They talk about a climb speed for this particular model as being 205 knots. So I set that to 12,000, and so we're ready to go. And then, you know, they're saying fly the departure heading. So we are going out. Did they tell me the runway? No, they haven't told me the runway yet. So we'll request the taxi information when these guys get done talking. So now they're going to give us some taxi information. I will come over to here and get the D-board briefing up. So 2 left. Let's see, do they give us a heading for 2 left? For the bigger airports, a lot of times they'll give you a heading, which is kind of nice. I wish they all did. Yeah, 2 left is heading of 019. So I'll come over here and I will put this into 19. So now our heading, which is down here, oops, let's close this up again. So there's our heading. You can see that little line, it's pointing to 1 left. When we get over to the actual thing, we'll be lined up with the runway and be able to fly the heading out. I couldn't even tell you how to change the radio because I just kept using these buttons. I figured that's what my co-pilot's job is to tune the radio. There's kind of enough for me to do, though I am getting a lot more comfortable with everything I have to do. So anyway, let's turn on progressive taxi and get out of here. There we go. Just turn right down there. Alright, so now zoom. I like 0.4 zoom. It kind of puts everything in a nice perspective there. Oops. I want to take this thing off, and then we need to take our condition levers up. I imagine you don't need to have them at max, but that way I don't forget. It's kind of like I like to put my flaps on 10. I've seen takeoff charts that have anywhere between 10 and 5 and 15. And you can hear our engines ramping up. So we should, if we take off the brake, we'll start moving. I had the throttles up a little bit. And I've found that 8 on the engines is a pretty good taxi speed. Move it up a little higher for now until we get rolling around this turn. I'm really not familiar with Nashville Airport. See how that does. But we'll get on down to 2 left and we'll take this thing off, and then I'll probably fast forward the footage until we get closer to, what is the name of the actual town we're going to? I don't know. 3LF. Should be kind of interesting because I'm not real good at landing. If a landing is 3 miles long, that's probably about the right length for me. I don't think this airport we're going into, it's 3 miles long, which is kind of one of those neat things about the links that I saw there. You can kind of see what's going on, and that's just, I think that's cool that you can actually see the airport you're supposed to land at and compare it to how Flight Sim looks. So what else? You have a dome light here if it's nighttime. A little hard for you guys to see, but makes these things a little more visible. When we get into the sky, I don't get too distracted until we take off, but when we get into the sky, you open this thing up, you can put, let's see, try it now. K3LF. Enter. Yeah, there it goes. Litchfield, that's where we're going. So now, if you see down here, it's probably a little hard. Let's close that thing. You have a little blue line that's showing your direction. You can also see how far away from it you are. So, Seems like we're slowing down for some reason. Let's pick up the pace a tiny bit. For the sake of video, if nothing else. We still got another run down this airport, or this taxiway. Yeah, one day I'll probably try to do a whole flight where I even pretend that I know what I'm doing fully. And I'll tell you what, this has been fun. Like, I've never flown this complex of an airplane, and this is just the Pilot Edition, and you know, it's certainly been interesting. I do want to try to get into, at some point, I think, this flight management system. It lets you put in all those waypoints to, you know, where you follow the real life traffic patterns instead of, like me, just fly from A to B. But again, I'm more worried about just land. Like, as we take off, I'm just worried about landing this stupid thing. You know, it's just, I've gotten the last couple of flights. I mean, I haven't crashed it, but I've yet. It took me 10 times to get it qualified with an okay landing, and I'm just, you know, the last 2 were positive. Fortunately, it can carry enough cargo that I've actually been able to pay for the damage I did the last 2 times. So, which, like I said, is kind of part of the reason I started a whole new company. It's only me and another guy now, just flying out of St. Louis. And I may expand that, I may not. I don't know. It's Air Hauler 2 is polished enough to, certainly I don't blame the guy for putting it out on beta, but picking the different airports is, when you get a bunch of airports, it's like it's just nothing but a whole bunch of blue lines all over the screen. And I don't know, when I got one airport, I can tell which flights are going in and out of that airport. I wish he would make it so you could filter the airports, you know, so you can only see certain flights on that map, not this ridiculous, you know, 100 flights that are trying to be shown on that. And then you click on it, and you're clicking on the line for another airport. And I think I'm putting it in reverse when I'm, you hear that noise change on the propellers? But that's like all the way back on my joystick. See, as I lift it up a little bit, but there's like no true neutral, it doesn't seem.
Approaching 02 left. Airway at 1637.
Let's stop here for a minute. Hit Control 1. Let's get that thing to be a little less noisy. Alright, let's tune to the tower. Let's request clearance. Our flaps are set. Our lock is off. Yeah, I see that guy. He's making me a little nervous. We may just let him go first. Yeah, but now I'm kind of in a big boy plane, which is kind of a nice feeling too. You know, I'm not. You fly into these bigger airports, it goes 1,000 miles. So
on runway,
it's a lot quicker getting places as well.
Flaps.
Get myself lined up a little bit with the runway, and then we'll. Oh yeah, look at that plane.
Orbit 606, contact national departure on 128.
Let him go first. He doesn't seem to be in a big hurry to get out of here, does he?
Going at 128.45, orbit 606.
I don't know what he's doing. So we're gonna go. So I get my hand on the brake. I can see my. Let me adjust my view down just slightly. So now I can see over here. So what I'll do is these propellers aren't fully wound up. I'll keep my foot. You can just go on a runway this long, but on shorter ones, I got my brakes are still being just held on by hand, and when that gets up to speed, I let go. Now this plane, see I'm heading off to the right a little bit, it'll pull to the left as we get up speed for some reason. Of course, it's not going to do it. Going to do it. Yeah, see how it's turning? So as we're getting speed up, it's just turning on its own. So give it some rudder, straighten it out a bit. And we'll get up to about 120 because we got a pretty good load on it. We'll try to pull up. There we go. And right quickly, I'll come over here, put on my heading, and altitude select. Let's get our landing gear up. I'm going to retract the flaps with the F5 key. Let's check that they go up. Now, they don't always go up. I don't understand that 100%. There we go. Now the flaps are up.
Contact national departure on 128.45.
And we will go to Nashville departure. So that's my co-pilot's job to talk on the radio.
Echo is at 1,300, climbing 12,000. Bombardier, Lima X-ray, Lima Golf Echo, Nashville, departure, roger, altimeter 3012. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo, turn left, heading 330, resume on navigation, climb and maintain 12 knots. Turn left, heading
All right,
330, stay on course, climb and maintain 12,000. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo.
This isn't a big turn. Oh no, I guess yeah, we're heading north, so this 330 makes sense, northwest. Now what this plane will do, if you notice, and it's probably easy to see it over here, is it will speed up until you get to 205 knots, and then it won't go any faster. It'll just use that extra energy to climb faster. So there we go. So see, we're just about at 205 now. If you notice, it won't go up to 206 other than like a momentarily wind kind of thing, you know, if there's turbulence or whatever. But other than that, it'll keep it at 205, and then we'll climb on up to our speed, or up to our altitude. And they're telling us to go to 12,000, but they'll probably increase it to 19 sometime soon. Looks like we got some wind, some clouds.
Contact Nashville, departure on 119.35. 119.35 for Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. Nashville, departure, Bombardier, Lima X-ray, Lima Golf Echo is at 5,000, climbing 12,000.
Bombardier, Lima X-ray, Lima Golf Echo, national departure, roger, altimeter 3012. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo, turn left heading 295.
Turn left, heading 295. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo.
Alright, so I'm going to fast forward things. If anything exciting happens, I'll be recording. The fast forwarding happens after the fact, so to speak. And I will see you guys fairly soon. It's not that long a flight. Like I said, once things calm down here with the weather, I will put it in fast speed 2, speed 4 mode to get there a little bit quicker.
Lima Golf Echo. Descend and maintain 12,000.
Descend and maintain 12,000. Bombardier Lima Golf Echo.
As we're getting our instructions now, so they want us to descend to 12,000. There it is there. So on the way down, I'm going to use the vertical speed. And you use that little knob over here on the left, and you turn it down to whatever. And hit altitude select. And we should start descending, but we don't want to speed up too much, so we'll throttle back a good amount.
Bombardier Lima Golf Echo. Please expedite your descent to 12,000.
Okay, we can. Guys, we're getting to altitude. Probably getting, what are we, 30 miles out still. But I wanted to talk about two things. One is you have a range here, so you can right click. So see how we're now at 20 miles
2,500.
on this thing. So we're at 2,500 feet off the ground. So this plane's a little different too. It's got a ground radar, I guess, so you can see how far off the ground you are, which is nice. But I am also going to increase these condition levers to get my RPMs back up.
Bombardier Lima Golf Echo. For 300 below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 2,700. Altimeter 3008.
Caution, terrain. Caution, terrain.
And I don't know why this is happening. It's like the autopilot's stuck. So let's turn it off. Up a bit. Let's pull some throttle.
Bombardier Lima Golf Echo. Please acknowledge. Climb and maintain 2,700. Bombardier Lima Golf Echo.
Let's do altitude select. It might have been because I had the pitch hold thing on there. Let's turn the heading back on. Turn the autopilot back on. And let's turn this down. We don't really want to speed up that much. So see, by turning that speed down, it'll climb.
At the city center.
Just won't let you fall below 170 there.
Wind yield 4,000. Beach November 96737. Kansas City Center. Roger. Altimeter 3010.
Now that we seem to be back in course, I'll slow back down a bit. Turn the engines down, I should say. I don't know if we're on course or not, but
Kansas City Center, Beach November 2.
yeah, it must have been that pitch hold thing did it. So,
Beach November 225 2 Papa. Kansas City Center. Roger. Altimeter 3010.
alright, we're 20 miles out, so we're getting kind of close. But we've stabilized, so now one thing you'll notice, if I cut down on the throttle, you'll see a little arrow. Sometimes it'll be an up arrow, sometimes it'll be a down arrow. I just want to drop off some speed now that we're getting close. I've learned not to rush into things with this plane.
Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. Contact St. Louis approach on 124.2. 124.2. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. St. Louis approach. Bombardier, Lima X-ray, Lima Golf Echo is at 2,500. Climbing 2,700. Bombardier, Lima X-ray, Lima Golf Echo. St. Louis
Slow
approach.
enough.
Roger. Altimeter 3008. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. Turn left heading 270. Turn left heading 270. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo.
Wrong left. Alright, so they're getting us lined up for the runway now. So we are 19 miles out. And we are going 150 knots, so that's not too bad. Now you'll notice on this thing, see how it's red up to about 135? So at this point, flying this plane is going to be as much about managing your speed. You know, it's different than the little planes in the fact that it, you know, if you don't watch out, it'll just keep losing speed, and before you know it, you're stalling or something. And I'm sure that's true of the smaller planes, but yeah, see, this plane's still trying to climb. So if you hit this out button, it will, it's supposed to just lock you in at the altitude. Yeah, see, I hit it twice. So it should start bringing the nose back down a little bit, I would think. Or I'll probably just have an angle of attack because we're just not going fast enough for this plane, for the weight that we have in it. So I'll speed up a tad. I don't want to get going too fast. That'll bring the nose down slightly. Great visibility in this plane, which is one thing I really like about it. You know, compared to other, you can't see right behind you, but you can't really in any plane. I try to put my view right here every time so that I got a reasonable idea of my glide slope. I don't know, this will probably be the hardest landing as far as runways goes that I've done, but I guarantee you, even if we run out of gas, we're going to get on the ground eventually, right? They got to have us turning sometime soon here. So as we get into turn, and we'll probably even get the gear down now. Let's do that.
St. Louis approach, beach, November 2137.
On other airports, 15 miles out, 17 miles out, get my gear down.
Roger, altimeter
The flap set to 10 anyway. Sometimes it yells at you if you just put them on 10. So this will slow the plane down, but you'll also notice that that red bar is a lot lower too, because we're getting more lift from the flaps. So we can go slower safely.
Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. Turn right heading 300. Turn right heading 300. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo.
I thought we were going on runway 36.
Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. Turn right heading 330. Turn right heading 330. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo. St. Louis approach, global freeways 869er with 9,000.
Slow down just a bit
Global
more.
freeways 869er, St. Louis approach, roger, altimeter 3007.
I have no idea if there's lights on this runway or
climbing through 1,800 or 5,000. Sword 420, St. Louis departure, roger, altimeter 420.
We don't want to lose too much speed. Like I said, this is all speed management.
Sword 420.
Once we get to 10 miles, or 10 nautical miles, we'll
going to
go to full flaps.
123.7. Sword 420.
Probably could do it
St.
now.
Louis departure, Sword 420 is at 4,500, climbing 5,000. Sword 420, St. Louis departure, roger, altimeter 3008. Sword 420, climb and maintain 1,000.
Alright, so
Climb
we
and
got
maintain
full flaps.
1,000. Sword 420.
Slowing down a good amount. I don't want to be going this. I think I need to be going faster. This might barely be enough runway for this whole operation. But all right, come on, buddy. Turn me into the runway here already.
Bombardier, Lima Golf to go. Your report is 11 miles at your 1 o'clock. Turn right, heading 360. Report runway in sight. Turn right, heading 360. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo.
Well, I see something way out here. I also see something right there. Let's see if we change this range. How close to the look can we get? That's about it. So, oh, see what I mean? There we go. Speed's dropping off, which kills my autopilot. So let's get the autopilot
Sword
heading.
420, contact Kansas City Center on 128.1.
What's going on? Come on, heading.
128.1 for Sword 420. Bombardier, Lima Golf to go. Please expedite your turn to heading 360.
No, I was already there. Oh, no. Am I slowing down that much? Why am I slowing down so much? Got a pretty good amount of throttle on. So that turns off. Alright, well, we're going to have to just...
Bombardier, Lima Golf
Oh,
to
there it
go.
is.
Please
I see.
expedite your turn to
Yeah,
heading
well,
360.
Yeah, I hear you. I need to get over there. I see the red lights. Runway in sight.
Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo, runway in sight. Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo, you are 8 miles south, turn right, heading 360, proceed on course, descend and maintain 2,700, cleared visual, runway 36, approach, switch to advisory on 122.8.
Way too high already. So this thing does give you nice warning. No, we're not way too high anymore. So let's give it some more throttle.
Bombardier, Lima Golf Echo, please acknowledge.
Oh, I don't have time to really mess with it too much. Yeah, see, I see red and white and yellow, white and red. So I've got a pretty good slope. I'm going to fall too fast. More throttle. Like I said, I kind of think I want to be faster than this anyway, so now I'm too low, so I'm kind of climbing, but I don't really want to climb much. There's 2 white lights, so let's start dropping again. Be glad you're not on this airplane right now is all I can say. Down too high. My speed's going way the hell up there. I think I see one red light. At least we got lights, or else I probably wouldn't stand a chance of doing this. We're dropping like a brick. Coming in
1,000.
pretty quick.
Flaps.
The flaps are up, down, whatever the hell they are. Alright, well, we're not doing as bad as we could.
Approaching.
We're still kind of high.
3, 6.
now we're back on the glide slope. Let's not come back up too much. That's probably pretty good right there. Yeah.
500. 500.
Unstable. Unstable.
I don't care if I'm unstable. We're just trying to get it on the ground. That's all. Somewhere close to that runway. That's what we're looking for. Somewhere close to the
100.
runway.
Minimums.
Alright, so now we're getting a little bit too low, which is actually okay
Minimums.
with me.
Minimums. Too low. Flaps.
I understand. Stop yelling at me, guys.
Too low. Flaps.
I understand. Way too low.
100. Too low. Flaps.
Come on, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up. Quite positive, huh? Well, there you go, guys. Like I said, be glad you're not on this airplane. But thanks to the beauty of Flight Simulator, we are on the ground. The grass doesn't make that much more difference than I've ever noticed on the thing. I don't remember this being so dark before. So there we go. So there's that. If you cut these all the way back, that'll kill the plane's engines. And then of course you go around turning all this stuff off, I imagine. You know, a lot of times I'll turn these two things off here. They're the, let me zoom in so you can see, they're the engine start things. And that's good enough for air hauler. You know, I made it. We did quite positive. So I'm sure there's some damage repair to be done, but there you go. There is a flight sim baby toy delivery made, or I'm sorry, with the air hauler. Air hauler is what I meant to say, but yeah. Air hauler, flight sim, flight made. I can't even talk anymore because I'm still thinking about that landing, but anyway, like I said, I got it on the ground and it wasn't too awful far and bad for me, but anyway. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.